All right, we got the most embarrassing ring chasing attempts. See what it's talking about.
Blake Griffin. The ring chase was real, but the result, not exactly storybook. Blake joined the Brooklyn Nets in March of 2021 after getting
Blake
bought out by
deserved
Detroit.
the ring,
It
though.
wasn't
He was so
subtle.
talented.
He linked up with Durant and Kyrie for one reason only, to chase a championship. He suited up for 7 playoff games against Boston and averaged just under 5 points, 3 boards, and 2 assists. Decent numbers for a role guy, but nowhere near enough to change their fate. Brooklyn didn't get that ring, and neither did Blake. Then came the Boston chapter. In September of 2022, he signed a 1-year deal at the veteran minimum. No superstar reunion
Curry,
this time.
baby.
Just a guy trying to hang on, hoping for one last shot at the title. He had to dig deep just to pick a jersey number because the Celtics had already retired so many. He ended up rocking number 91, a tribute to Dennis
91
Rodman.
is
That was
nasty.
probably the most memorable thing about his stint there. He played 569 regular season minutes and barely touched the court in the
I didn't even know he
playoffs.
played for the
Just
Celtics.
6 minutes total. That's it. So in the end, both stops, Brooklyn and Boston, gave him hope, but not hardware. Blake Griffin went all in twice and came up empty both times. DeMarcus Cousins. In the summer of
I remember what
2018,
Boogie gave.
he signed a 1-year deal with the Warriors
You could have
worth
been
around
something.
$5 million. He was coming off a torn Achilles and wasn't getting offers he liked. So he took the gamble. Low money, high reward. It wasn't just a business move either. He reached out to the front office himself, spoke with Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green, and made his intentions clear. He wanted a ring. While rehabbing, he spent time with their G League affiliate in December. By January, he made his Warriors debut, scoring 14 points before fouling out. Things were looking up. In April, he had a strong game against Denver, 28 points and 13 boards. But the playoffs weren't kind. In the very first round, Game 2, he tore his left quadriceps. Just brutal timing. He was out indefinitely. Somehow, he returned for the finals. But it wasn't the same. He came off the bench in Game 1, and you could tell he wasn't 100%. The Warriors ended up losing the finals, 4-2 against Toronto. The dream was over. Cousins made a calculated move by joining Golden State, but the injuries just kept piling on. First the Achilles, then the quad. He came back both times, but that window slammed shut fast. His role in the finals was limited, and despite putting himself on a super
We
team,
all got hurt.
the title
We
never
all got
came.
hurt. It
In the
just
end,
wasn't him,
that
man.
ring
It
chase
just
didn't
wasn't
pay
him.
off. He tried to rehab and win at the same time, but reality had other plans. No title, just another chapter in the long list of big names, chasing the ring and coming up short. Karl Malone. After 18 seasons chasing ghosts in Utah,
Yeah,
he
he
packed his
couldn't-
bags
he
for
couldn't-
Los Angeles
he couldn't
in
deal with
2003,
losing to MJ
linking up
anymore.
with Kobe Bryant, Shaq, and Gary Payton. He wanted that ring. The Lakers were built like a cheat code, and Malone joined for the minimum, grabbing jersey number 11 because Magic's 32 was off limits. Though Magic offered, Malone still said no. The start looked promising. The Lakers went 18-3 before Malone's knee gave out in
Damn.
late December.
That's
That
tough.
injury sidelined him for 39 games. Still, when he played, they won, going
That's what's up.
33-9 with him and just
Hey, that's a pretty good
23-17
record, though.
without him. In the playoffs, he suited up for 21 games, posting over 11 points, nearly 9 boards, and a few assists a night. He was no longer the lead dog,
How old
but
was
he
he,
was
like
steady.
30
They
something?
fought through the West and made it to the finals against Detroit. That's when it all unraveled. Malone sprained his right knee in Game 3. The numbers dropped, just 5 points a game in the finals, and he couldn't even play in Game 5. That was the end of the line. Detroit knocked them out 4-1. So that final shot at glory, missed. Malone
Yep.
gave it one last push on a loaded squad and got as close as he'd ever been. But no ring, no parade, just a limping exit after 21 playoff games.
Hey, you're top 3 in scoring all time, right? Isn't he like number 3 on the list or something like that? That's all time scoring. So I mean, that's something.
And a long career spent watching
I
other
ain't
guys
picking you
lift
as my
trophies.
power forward
That
on
season
my all-time
wrapped
list.
up everything about Malone's chase. Famous teammates, flashes of greatness, then a final injury
I'm
at the
good.
worst possible time. He finished with the most playoff games ever without winning a title.
Damn.
A brutal record for a
Most
guy who
playoff
tried
games
everything.
ever
By the
without
way,
winning.
if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going
Now
to be
that must
posting
be
every
tough.
day. Thanks. Anyways, Brooklyn Nets. In the summer of 2013, they went all in on one of the most reckless ring chase trades in league history. On draft night, they pulled off a massive deal with Boston, landing Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Jason Terry, and DJ White. In return, Brooklyn shipped out a pile of future first-round picks and a bunch of rotation players like Chris Humphries and Gerald Wallace. It was expensive, painfully expensive. The picks ended up becoming Tatum and Brown. The message was loud and clear: championship or bust. Paul Pierce said it himself. This was about chasing a ring, and he believed Brooklyn gave him the best shot. So yeah, there was zero mystery about the motivation here. The regular season, it was fine. They ended with 44 wins and a playoff ticket, landing in the 6th seed. In the first round, they scraped past Toronto in 7 games. Then came the Miami Heat, the defending champs. Brooklyn had swept them during the regular season, which made the playoff matchup seem promising. It wasn't. The Nets got knocked out in 5 games. This was a team built to win now, veterans, star power, experience. But the window slammed shut almost instantly.
Yep.
Pierce and Garnett were far past
Too
their prime.
old.
The chemistry never clicked like they hoped. And the cost? 3 first-round picks, plus the right to swap another. All of that for 1 year of relevance and 0 banners. No ring, no deep run, just a bloated roster and a gutted future. It's still considered one of the worst trade decisions ever made. The gamble backfired so hard, it took Brooklyn years to recover. What was supposed to be a shortcut to a title turned into a long...
Yeah, because they're too fucking old. You can't build a superstar team with 35-plus-year-olds, gang. That's exactly what's going on with the Clippers. It's not going to work. It's just not. I'm sorry.
Detour back to mediocrity. Carmelo Anthony. In August of 2021, he signed with the Lakers, hoping this would finally be the season he got that championship. He called it a must-have, and he wasn't joking. After years of scoring, moving teams, and falling short, this was his big move to a title contender. Or at least, that was the plan. He debuted in October and put up 9 points with a few boards and assists. A few nights later, he hit another mile.
My bad, chat. I accidentally hit stop recording. That's my bad. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Carmelo, when he played with the Lakers, had a pretty decent stand. Even with the Blazers, too, you couldn't call that ring chasing because the Blazers weren't a competitive team. But Melo, towards the end of his career, didn't do too bad. And he just got inducted into Hall of Fame not too long ago. So shout out Mezzo, Hazo Melo, Hoodie, motherfucking Melo, man.
Milestone, 28,000 career points. That kind of scoring legacy is rare, and he did it while shooting nearly 38% from deep across 69 games. The problem? The Lakers were a mess. Injuries, rotations, chemistry, none of it clicked. Despite Carmelo doing his part and putting up over 13 points a night, the team stumbled to a 33-49 finish. They didn't just miss the playoffs, they missed the play-in. It was a quiet collapse for a team built around stars. Carmelo's role wasn't flashy, but he gave solid minutes off the bench. He was brought in to space the floor, hit open shots, and maybe finally win a ring. Instead, the season ended with nothing but frustration and another missed opportunity. No playoffs meant no ring, and that Lakers chapter went into the books as another ring chase that ended with a thud. He chased it with effort, but the ending didn't change. No postseason, no title, just another season, another jersey, and that championship still sitting out of reach. Cleveland Cavaliers. In 2018, they didn't just reload. They detonated the roster mid-season in a frantic attempt to keep LeBron James and win one more ring. LeBron had declined his player option, making it clear the front office had a narrow window to convince him to stay. And they went all in. On February 8th, they flipped nearly half the team in one day. Out went Isaiah Thomas, Channing Frye, Derrick Rose, Jay Crowder, D. Wade, and others. In came George Hill, Jordan Clarkson, Rodney Hood, and Larry Nance Jr. It was one of the most chaotic trade deadlines in league history. They added youth, energy, and tried to bury the drama from earlier in the season. Nance, a local product, made waves right away with 22 points and 15 rebounds in one early start. The regular season finished solidly at 50 wins, enough for the 4th seed in the East. Playoff time came, and LeBron went into full takeover mode. They beat Indiana in 7, swept Toronto, and took down Boston in another 7-game slugfest. But the finals? That's where the dream ended. Golden State stomped them in 4 straight, making it the first final sweep in over a decade. Cleveland's retooled squad couldn't keep up. All the trades, all the fresh faces, they made it back to the big stage, but had nothing left. It was the definition of a desperate ring chase.
I mean, you gotta go
carried
against
them,
Steph,
but the
KD,
patchwork roster wasn't enough. The gamble gave them one more finals, but no title, no magic ending. And after that sweep, LeBron was gone. That ring chase didn't just fail, it marked the end of an era in Cleveland. Charles Barkley, his ring chase in Houston came in 2 distinct chapters, the Drexler era and the Pippen experiment. It started in 1996
had 2 different times he
got traded to...
Bo tried 2 different times with the same team to try to win a ring, and it didn't work. That's tough.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday.
That's you, Charles Barkley.
And right now, you can say...
The Rockets, to join forces with Hakeem and Clyde Drexler. This was his super team moment. In that first season, Barkley averaged 19 points and over 13 rebounds. Despite ankle and hip problem, the Rockets finished 57-25, made it to the Western Conference Finals, and lost to the Utah Jazz on a dagger from John Stockton. The next season, not great. Barkley's numbers dropped to 15 points and nearly 12 rebounds. Injuries were a constant shadow. Houston barely made the playoffs and bowed out in round 1, again to the Jazz, because Payne apparently likes consistency. Then came the Pippen phase. After Drexler retired, the Rockets brought in Scottie Pippen for one more shot at a title. Barkley, Hakeem, and Pippen had the resume, but not the chemistry. Barkley posted 16 points and 12 boards, while Pippen added 14, nearly 6 assists and 2 steals per game. They finished 31-19 in the shortened season, grabbed the 5th seed, and immediately lost to the Lakers in the first round. The tension was thick. Barkley and Pippen clashed off the court, and Pippen was out of Houston after one season. Barkley tried to hang on, but a knee injury in late 1999 ended his run. He suited up for one last game in April 2000, then retired. He gave it multiple tries with multiple Hall of Famers, but the ending stayed the same. No ring, no parade, just numbers, frustration, and a Hall of Fame career without the one thing he chased the hardest. James Harden. On February 10th, 2022, he landed in Philadelphia after a trade that sent Ben Simmons and others to Brooklyn.
Explain what
the goal
he did,
wasn't hidden.
Boy,
Harden
been
wanted a ring,
for a minute.
and this was supposed to be the place to get it. He even took less money than he could have earned elsewhere just to help the Sixers build around Joel Embiid. He made a statement right away. In his debut, he dropped 27 points with 12 assists and 8 rebounds. 2 nights later,
Harden
he went for 29, 16 assists, and 10
he
boards.
played good at regular
Nobody
season,
had
but
ever
playoff
opened their
time,
Sixers
it was
career
nasty
with
work.
back-to-back games like that. The playoffs came, and Harden stayed productive. In round 1, he helped knock out the Raptors. Then in round 2, he dropped 31 points to tie the series with Miami, but they didn't make it out. Eliminated in 6. Harden re-signed that summer on a 2-year deal and came back strong. He led the league in assists, while Embiid led in scoring. That had not been done by teammates since 1982. In the next playoffs, Harden put up 45 points in Game 1 and followed that with 42 in Game 4. But it didn't matter. They still lost to Boston in 7 games.
Was a good team
no
that
ring.
year.
Again. And after the second failed run, Harden's patience evaporated. He went after Sixers president Daryl Morey publicly and demanded out. By November of 2023, he was traded to the Clippers. His relationship with Embiid went cold after that. So what started as a strategic, self-sacrificing ring chase ended with drama, another relocation, and no championship. Harden bet on Philly. He gave them numbers, but the ring still missing. Football season's here, and I've teamed up with even the 800 to push was Coach Frank Vogel roundward, grabbing Beal in a 3-team trade to create a new Big Three. The idea was clear: surround Booker with veteran firepower and chase that elusive championship. Coach Frank Vogel called them one of the best scoring trios in the league. That didn't age well. Despite the hype, the group never won a single playoff game. In the 2024 postseason, they got swept in the first round by Minnesota. First time the Suns got swept in the playoffs in 25 years. 1 year later, they didn't even qualify, finishing 11th in the West with just 36 wins. A super team
was so
that couldn't
bad.
even crack the
They didn't have a point guard, gang. You got 3 scorers. I'm sorry, it's not gonna work, gang.
Top 10. Beal's scoring fell off a cliff, just under 18 points per game, down from his usual 22, and he couldn't stay healthy. Durant still put up solid numbers around 26 a night, but it didn't matter. The team's chemistry never clicked, the payroll was bloated, and the depth was non-existent. By summer of 2025, the whole thing fell apart. Durant was traded to Houston in a wild 7-team deal that brought back Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and a top 10 pick. Beal, he got waived. Phoenix just cut ties, ate the money, and let him sign with the Clippers. It was a full reset. Booker's still in Phoenix, but the ring chase with Durant and Beal, total bust. 2 seasons, 0 playoff wins, and a teardown to show for it. The Suns went for a super team and ended with a super mess. Shaq. By the summer of 2009, the days of dominance were behind him, but the desire for one more ring was burning. That's when he landed in Cleveland via trade from Phoenix. His stated goal, win a ring for the king, aka LeBron James. This wasn't about stats anymore. It was a veteran move with a single mission, help deliver a title to Cleveland. The regular season started solid, but in February, Shaq busted his thumb against Boston. Surgery followed in March, sidelining him until the playoffs. He returned, but wasn't the same. The Cavs made it past the Bulls, then got bounced by the Celtics in the second round. No ring, no redemption. That was his only season with Cleveland. Then came Boston. In August of 2010, Shaq signed a veteran minimum deal and made no secret about it. He was ring chasing. This time, he wasn't pretending otherwise. The Celtics had just been to the finals and looked like one last great landing spot, but his body had other plans. Injuries hit hard. Knee, calf, Achilles, you name it. The Celtics even traded Kendrick Perkins expecting Shaq to be the answer, but he could barely stay upright. He played spot minutes when available, but was mostly out of the rotation. His final NBA game came in the 2011 Eastern Conference Finals. Just 3.5 minutes.
Damn.
0 points.
Damn.
That was the end. 2 teams.
I don't know why he was playing for that long and doing that for that so long. Like, I feel like he should have respected himself not to even be playing that, bro. He is Shaquille O'Neal. 3.5 minutes, no points game? Bro, what are we doing?
Shots, 0 results. Cleveland was calculated and hopeful. Boston was desperate and broken. In both cases, Shaq chased one last ring, but the ending didn't change. He left the league with 4 titles, all earned before either of those final stops. Paul George. In the summer of 2024, he left the Clippers and signed a 4-year deal worth $212 million with the 76ers. The contract had a player option for the final season. Media everywhere labeled it a championship push. Philadelphia suddenly looked like a real contender, with George joining Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. But while the headlines screamed ring chase, George said he was after the right style of basketball, not just a title. From a front office standpoint, it was a full reset. After years of dysfunction, especially with the Harden saga, the Sixers went all in on building a new trio. On paper, it looked like a top-tier Eastern Conference squad. Then the game started, and the wheels fell off. They opened the season with 3 wins and 13 losses. All 3 stars, George, Embiid, and Maxey, missed time early. The chemistry never got a chance to exist. The final record, 24-58. Not just out of the playoffs, nowhere near. It was their worst season since 2016. George put up numbers when healthy, but injury concerns followed him into Philly. Embiid couldn't stay on the floor either. The trio almost never played extended stretches together, and when they did, it didn't translate to wins. By mid-season, reports surfaced that Philly was exploring trade options for George, concerned about his contract and durability. So what started as a blockbuster signing turned into a breakdown. George went to Philadelphia with a massive deal and championship expectations. But year 1 was a bust. No playoffs, no cohesion, and a growing sense that the gamble might not last long. Another big
I couldn't imagine Paul George in his first year if he had that podcast and they didn't make playoff. Boy, that boy would be on that motherfucker ranting.
Ring chase stalling before it even gets going. And this one doesn't look like it's changing anytime soon. LaMarcus Aldridge. In March of 2021, he joined the Brooklyn Nets after getting bought out by the Spurs. The plan was simple: veteran depth for a stacked super team chasing a ring. Durant, Irving, Harden, and now Aldridge. But that run didn't last long. Less than 3 weeks after debuting, Aldridge retired. An irregular heartbeat forced him to step away from the game on April 15th. That should have been the end of it. Then came the surprise. In September, he got full medical clearance and officially re-signed with Brooklyn. This time, he lasted the full season. Over 52 games, Aldridge averaged nearly 13 points and 5.5 rebounds, giving them a reliable mid-range scorer and veteran presence off the bench. It was a respectable comeback. Quiet, but productive. Still, the ring never came. Brooklyn's title hopes collapsed under injuries, inconsistency, and drama. Even with all that firepower, the team didn't deliver. The Aldridge ring chase fizzled out with no hardware, no deep playoff run, and no real impact on the postseason. He retired for good on March 31st, 2023, closing a 16-year career. No championship, just a final chapter with one last push that couldn't overcome the chaos around it. Another veteran star with a decorated resume and nothing to show for it when it came to a ring. Tracy McGrady. On April 16, 2013, after finishing a season in China, he signed with the San Antonio Spurs just before the playoffs. No long lead up, no regular season adjustment, just a late addition to a contender making a title push. The Chiefs game is 6-0, by the way, chat. It's looking real good for fantasy-wise. Reaching the NBA Finals against the Miami Heat. McGrady was on the roster the whole time, but saw almost no action. He played in just 2 finals games, totaling 14 minutes and scored 0 points. His presence was ceremonial, a respected veteran brought in for depth, but never called on for real contribution. This was a clear ring chase. After a career full of highlights and heartbreaks, McGrady had never advanced past the first round before. San Antonio gave him that elusive final shot, but when it ended in a 7-game loss to Miami, it was another near miss. Even if they had won, McGrady later said it wouldn't have felt complete. He didn't play a real role, and that mattered to him. He admitted the journey, actually helping carry a team, meant more than a ring handed out at the end. This final chapter didn't rewrite his legacy. It just underlined what had always followed him, a Hall of Fame career filled with talent, setbacks, and unanswered what-ifs. No ring, no redemption arc, just the quiet end of a brilliant player's chase that fell flat at the finish line. Darren Williams, in February of 2017, after getting waived by the Mavericks, he signed with the Cavaliers on a veteran minimum deal, just under $1 million. He joined Cleveland with one goal, get a ring. The Cavs were the defending champs, led by LeBron James, and Williams stepped in to be the backup point guard for the stretch run. In the regular season, he played 24 games, averaging 7.5 points, nearly 4 assists, and
24 games, having 7.5? That's not bad.
Close to 2
For a
rebounds
backup
night.
point guard, that's
Nothing
not bad.
flashy, but he gave them reliable depth and some experience off the bench. Then came the playoffs. Williams suited up for 18 postseason games. He averaged just over 4 points and 1 assist in under 15 minutes per game. His role shrank as the competition got tougher, but he stayed in the rotation through the finals. That's where the chase ended. Cleveland made it back to the finals, but ran into the buzzsaw that was the 2017 Warriors. The Cavs lost in 5 games, and the super team in Golden State shut the door on
Yes,
Williams'
sir.
best shot at a title. He never got another chance.
I'm ready,
That
man.
run with
I'm ready.
Cleveland
I'm
was his
finishing up
last
this video
meaningful
right now.
playoff appearance, and the ring stayed out of reach. So while
I'm
the
gonna
move
see
was
you
textbook
try to
ring
shoot
chasing,
real quick.
late season signing,
Huh?
veteran depth,
I was
stacked roster, the result didn't follow.
The
D. Will
twos?
walked away from the NBA without a
Cam
championship.
said he hopping
Chris
on.
Webber. In January of 2007, he signed with the Detroit Pistons for the veteran
Chris
minimum
Webber
after being
signed.
bought
I didn't
out by
even
the
know he was with the
76ers.
Pistons.
It was more than just a homecoming. It was a ring chase. He
That
called it
was
the
for
best
sure a
he
ring
felt
chase.
in years and made it clear
Chris
he
Webber.
wanted to end his career with the title. The Pistons hoped he'd be their next
Really, the
Rasheed
Pistons?
Wallace-style
he
midseason
tried to sign
spark.
with the
Detroit
Pistons to
finished
get a ring.
53 and 29,
Damn, who was
taking
that
the
guy
top
had?
seed in the East. Even without Ben Wallace,
Tyrone
the
Tracy?
team looked strong, and Webber's presence helped stabilize the front
Oh yeah,
court. His
Tyrone
regular
Tracy's
season
out.
numbers
Man,
weren't
hey,
flashy.
Chad, I'm not gonna lie. This is off topic, but these running backs is getting hurt and going down. Russell Wilson doing big. You are so bad. Bro thinks he could just throw long bombs all day long, bro. I'm sorry, gang. You're not gonna throw 500 passing yards every game. But these running backs are getting hurt like crazy. Prayers to all these running backs. Man, this is insane. Quarterbacks going down now. RBs, like holy shit.
But he gave them a steady, efficient option inside. In the playoffs, he averaged around 10 points and 6 rebounds, shooting over 52% from the field. In Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals, he showed flashes of the old Webber. 20 points on 9 of 13
gotta
shooting,
get some
plus
boosts.
7 boards. He even scored 5 in double overtime. But the Cavs ended. LeBron and Cleveland took the series in 6 games, ending Detroit's run and Webber's best shot at a ring. That was the final meaningful playoff push of his career. He had the motivation, the opportunity, and a solid role, but it still didn't happen. Another legendary player who got close, but left without a title. The ring chase in Detroit was short, intense, and ultimately unfinished. Andre Drummond. He
Drummond.
signed with the Lakers
He
at
had
the
a
end of
solid
March
career too,
2021 after clearing waivers from
Never
Cleveland.
reached his
and
full
yeah,
max
this move
potential, I feel
screamed
like.
ring chase. The team had LeBron
He was
James,
like
Anthony
Boogie
Davis,
Cousins, kinda.
and championship
Play
expectations.
style wise.
Drummond was supposed to be the missing piece inside. He came in with that traditional center energy, rebounding, interior presence, all of it. During the regular season,
He came in
started
during
21
2021?
games and
Yeah, this is
averaged
year
nearly
too late,
12
buddy.
points and
You're
over
too
10
late,
rebounds.
gang.
On paper, solid. He gave them size, and that was a big need
They
at
were
the
good in
time.
2020,
fitting
but
into
not
that
2021,
system,
gang.
not as
Sorry.
smooth as
You're
they
too
probably
late.
hoped. Chemistry never really clicked the way it had to for a title run. In the playoffs, he played in 5 games during the first round series against Phoenix. He averaged 9 points and 11 boards, which honestly looks decent until you realize his impact wasn't shifting anything. The minutes got cut, the trust seemed shaky, and the Lakers as a whole just unraveled. The Suns took them out in 6 games. That ring, nowhere in sight. What made this one sting more was how quickly the hype disappeared. People expected a defensive wall and easy buckets off the glass. What they got was a short run, a tough matchup, and an early exit. Drummond didn't see the floor at all in the elimination
Those
game.
Los Angeles
That probably
jerseys
said
are so
enough.
tough.
So yeah, his title hopes
like those
with the
ones.
Lakers ended fast. The whole thing felt rushed and out of rhythm. And when it was over, Drummond left LA still chasing a ring, just like before he got there. Mike Bibby. In late February of
Bibby.
2011,
Hey, at least
he
he's
gave
the
up
head
over
coach of
$6
Sac State
million
now,
to
chat.
leave Washington and chase a title.
W.
That's
Mike
not a small
Bibby.
move. He literally walked away
Head
from
coach
a
of the-
full
head
year
coach
of
of Sac
salary
State
just to go
basketball
all in
team.
on winning a ring. After clearing waivers, Bibby picked the Miami Heat over other top contenders like the Lakers, Celtics, and Spurs. He signed with Miami on March 2nd and jumped right into a pressure cooker, joining a team with LeBron James, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh that was already hunting a title. Once he got there, he didn't just sit on the bench. He became their starting point guard for the playoffs, starting all 20 games. It was a huge opportunity at the tail end of his career. Miami stormed through the East and made it to the finals, setting up a showdown with
Dallas.
That series didn't go the way they hoped. Miami lost in 6, and Bibby's best shot at a championship was gone. Now, stats-wise, this wasn't prime Bibby. He averaged just 3.6 points per game in the playoffs, the lowest of his entire postseason career. He was clearly past his peak, but he was still trusted with that starting role on the biggest stage. That move was all about chasing that one goal. He gave up money, accepted a smaller role, and put himself in the best possible spot to win. It just didn't happen. The Heat lost, and Bibby finished his career without a ring. That shot with Miami, it was his last real chance. And despite how close they got, it ended just out of reach. Gary Payton. In the summer of 2003, he and Karl Malone made a bold move. They took pay cuts to join the Lakers, teaming up with Kobe Bryant and Shaq. This wasn't about money. It was about one thing, getting that ring. Payton later admitted he and Malone had planned it together, quietly lining up a shot at a time. He played in all 82 games that season, averaging nearly 15 points and over 5 assists. But fitting into Phil Jackson's triangle offense wasn't easy. It took the ball out of his hands more than he liked. Still, when others were out, he stepped up and delivered. The Lakers, even with all the off-court drama and injuries, ended with 56 wins and grabbed the top spot in their division. Come playoff time, Payton's role shifted. His scoring dipped down to under 8 points per game. He still had a couple standout games in the Western rounds, but it wasn't consistent. The Lakers powered through the West and made it to the finals. Then came Detroit. The Pistons shut everything down. That super team lost the series in 5 games. No championship, no ring. After that collapse, the Lakers broke apart. Phil Jackson left, Shaq got traded, Malone retired, and Payton was sent to Boston. The ring he chased so hard in LA, it didn't happen. But a few years later in Miami, Payton finally got it. He accepted a bench role, played within the system, and in 2006, helped the Heat win it all. That ring came later than expected, but he got it, just not in purple and gold. Jerry Stackhouse. In October of 2010, the Miami Heat needed depth. Mike Miller was dealing with an injury, so they brought in Stackhouse right before the season started. He signed on October 23rd, hoping to add veteran presence to a team that was fully loaded. At that point in his career, it was obvious. He was chasing a ring. He didn't say it out loud, but it didn't need to be said. Everyone saw it. He got on the floor for just 7 games and started only once. In total, he played 50 minutes. Not 50 per game, 50 minutes total. That's barely more than a full game. He put up just over 2 points a night, grabbed 5 rebounds per game, and chipped in a couple assists. It was a quiet, short run. Still, his per-minute stats weren't bad. Per 36 minutes, he was on pace for close to 9 points, 5 boards, and over 2 assists. But the minutes never came. Miami waived him on November 23rd, exactly 1 month later. He never suited up again for them. No playoffs, no real shot, no championship. That Heat team was gearing up for a deep run, but Stackhouse didn't make it past the first checkpoint. This one stung a little because the move had promise. The roster was title-worthy. Stackhouse had history, but timing didn't line up. He was brought in as a stopgap, and when they found other solutions, his chapter closed fast. The ring chase ended before it ever really began. A former All-Star, chasing a dream, and gone in a month. That was it. No ring, no moment. Just a whisper of a shot at glory. Stat. In July of 2015, he signed with the Miami Heat on a 1-year veteran minimum deal, clearly hoping for one last shot at a title. By then, the injuries had piled up, but the hope was still there. He joined a competitive roster, looking to add depth to the front court and give it one more run. Right out of the gate, things were rocky. Stat battled knee soreness early on, and he played in just one of Miami's first 10 games. But when he did get minutes, he made the most of them. On November 19th, he dropped 10 points in only 8 minutes. Later in the season, on January 31st, he filled in for an injured teammate and delivered 13 points and 12 boards. Just a couple days later, he followed that up with 14 more points. His role stayed limited, though, and when the playoffs came, he wasn't a regular in the rotation. Still